Hey everybody, my name is Shadow Phoenix. Welcome back to Planet Coaster and Whitaker Lake, my challenge park that I've been working on year by year, adding attractions just as an actual park would. Basically, it was an experiment that I tried out, and it seems to be going well so far. So we had just finished up year 7 in the last episode, and in that episode we added, actually it was 2 episodes, but we added our huge signature attraction for the park for its time, which was the log flume. Just a highly themed log flume, actually. Very, very well done, in my opinion. And now we are in year 8. So in year 8, obviously we can't afford to add a huge coaster or any big attraction. So what we did instead was we added a couple of small flats. One of those being the roller plane. And this is one of those looping rides. I don't remember exactly what it's called in the game, but it's very, very classic, and I felt kind of like it fit the time. The Zozo, I think, is what they call it in the game. It just occurred to me, so I just said it out loud. But yeah, so we're adding that in. And also we're going to add another attraction here in a minute, as well as a restaurant. Actually, 2 restaurants for this year. So even though we're not adding a huge attraction, the park, I kind of felt like, did spend quite a bit of money. But we are bringing in a lot of money. The log flume is a huge advantage to the park, not only to mention the log flume, but our huge wooden coaster that we built a few years back as well, which is the Racer. It's the dueling coaster that sits right next here to the roller plane, and we're kind of expanding upon this area over here by going up around the lake and trying to get to the back of the park. And that was kind of the point on why I wanted to add this attraction back here. So I'm just kind of tweaking basically like a queue line for this thing, and then we're going to add a sign to it just to give it a little bit of theming to try to get that queue rating up. And you know, the scenery rating on these things matter a lot because that's how it works with prestige, and in challenge mode and stuff, that's what you want. It gets the attraction and makes people want to pay more for it. Now, I don't know what it was about this roller plane, but out of all the flat rides that I added in the park, the roller plane had the biggest line for some reason. It didn't have a higher prestige than any of my other flat rides. I even built a coaster in the next year. Oops, I guess I spoiled that. That didn't even get as many people riding it as this thing did. And I could not figure it out. I have no idea why this thing, with the prestige lower than other items, got more people to stand in line for it. More people queued for it than any other flat ride in the park. I don't know what it is about this ride, but it did, and it's kind of weird. So right at this point, I'm just gonna like throw a sign down, and I thought, okay, let's put it over top of the queue line here, like our little queue building. And then I decided, nah, that's not really gonna work for us. Let's put it down here in the grass, kind of next to it, and then we'll kind of work around with that a little bit. And that's kind of what we did. So I will let this play out here a moment, and I will be back when we get to the next section of the park. Once we finished the sign, I did kind of want to give it a little bit more because the scenery rating wasn't just up just yet. So I thought, let's add a fence somewhat around this to kind of keep people from just like wandering into the path of a spinning flat ride of death here. So we added a couple trees. We fixed up our queue line a little bit, added these shrubbery right around there, and that made a pretty cool little queue line, I thought. And it's very, very quaint, and that was kind of what we was going for. Now the next attraction that we're adding here, as you guys can see, is our Ferris wheel. Now I wanted to put this in at the very first of the park, but I never unlocked it until like year 8. Actually, I think it was in year 7 when we finally unlocked it, but I was already had the log flume and stuff going. So we added the Ferris wheel, and then now you can see me adding one of our restaurants here. And this is on the workshop. This is by a friend of mine called SdanWolf. I'm sure you guys know of him. If you don't, he does have a lot of cool stuff on the workshop and some great YouTube videos. Highly suggest you check out his Twitter account and his YouTube videos and his workshop to see what else he has on there. But it's called Red's Diner. So I just kind of modded it a little bit to work for me here, but I felt it's got kind of a racing kind of theme to it, and considering it's right next to the racer, I thought this works great. It's a very hot rod culture-esque kind of feel to this area, and that was kind of what I was going for. And I really liked it. I do kind of wish it was a little bit bigger, and looking back, I wish I had made the building slightly larger. Maybe fix that up a little bit, but it worked for me. The only problem being that this was the busiest restaurant in the entire park, and that was mostly because of the coaster here, I think, because so many people were like, there was so much traffic in this area because of this dueling coaster. You got 2 coasters, each with 1200 prestige, right next to each other, with the entrance right next to each other. So you got 2 lines, 2400 prestige. You know, everybody kind of come over to this side of the park, and it was such a pain. And you know, it was also made this the busiest restaurant out of all the restaurants too. But yeah, I thought this thing looks fantastic. Shout out to SdanWolf. Make sure you guys check him out as well. Can't really say much without giving credit to him. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add another attraction for the year, and that is, as you can kind of see there, I'm working from reference photos. I forgot where this is from. I can't remember. It might have been Whitaker Lake, or it might have been like a Six Flags somewhere. But I found this reference photo of this really cool like restaurant, and it was going to work really well for me. So I changed it up a little bit, made it, because everything in Planet Coaster is larger than it should be. I made it an inside dining restaurant with an outdoor patio, and we added a couple shops in there and just kind of made it slightly larger than it needed to be instead of just like a shop front. But I thought it worked out really well, and it's got a very Western-esque feel to it. So since we added the log flume last year, we needed to expand this area a little bit. We had a lot of hungry guests and things over here, so a lot of thirsty guests, a lot of hungry guests, and this fixed that perfectly. And that is going to be it. So the only other thing I think I do in this video is I do go back to the front of the park, and we fix up our queue lines and stuff for our Ferris wheel, because before I just kind of placed it down. I didn't really do much with it. I didn't even add queue line or anything to it. I was just like, oh yeah, I need to add this this Ferris wheel real quick while I'm thinking about it. And then I just kind of added it and then forgot about it and went to building. I added SdanWolf's Red's Diner. And oh, by the way, the link, I'm going to put the link for Red's Diner in the description below, so you guys can check that out. Me and my rambling. And yeah, so we're just kind of building this up here and adding some doors and stuff. This is something I like to do. I don't really build interiors. I know some people do. They spend a lot of time with a lot of little details and stuff on the inside. I put so much detail into everything else that doing interiors just doesn't really work for me. So you know, it's gonna add more work, and more frames are gonna drop because of that. It's gonna make the park harder to play in and everything. And by the time I'm done with this park, it's already dropping down to like 11 frames a second, I think, when it's actually running. But it does have like 10,000 guests in it, so I probably could limit the guests. But there's so much detail work in the coming years that you guys are going to see once we get to that. In the meantime, though, this is our little Western-esque dining area here for the people with the outdoor patio and grill. I forgot what I threw in there, but it worked pretty good. It got a lot of the people who were coming off the log flume, and it was fairly busy as well, just not as busy as Red's Diner was. Just kind of adjusting it there a little bit, and we're getting the paths to go in. Because I don't really do interiors, what I do is I will sometimes do like an open door, but a lot of times I'll just put a door there. And yeah, the peeps don't open the door, and some people say, oh, you should have the doors open. I don't want to show off the interior. It's an empty interior with just some shops inside. I don't mind if they walk through the door. It would be cool if they opened the door and walked in, but that would be way too much stress on your PCs, I think. I'm no coder, I'm no game designer. I wish I was, but I don't know that much about it, other than the fact that I'm fairly certain it would just add even more stress to your computer when trying to play this game, and that's not what we need. We need to actually kind of get this thing a little more optimized. I do wish they'd had used DirectX 12 instead of DirectX 11, but it is what it is. It is the game that we have. Now, if some of you guys are watching this and you're asking, wait, why are you using custom tables? Why aren't you using the picnic tables that we got in the latest update? Now, that would be because this episode was recorded all the way back in August, I think, when I was playing around in this park. I'm just now getting to these videos, and it's taken a while to kind of get things up and, you know, like rendered, do the voiceovers on these things and everything else. So now we finished with our little restaurant back here, and we're, like I said, we're back up front to our Ferris wheel, and we're just going to kind of put some trees around, move a few things around, make this place a little more beautiful as you walk in, and there you go. That is it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this great video of year 8 of Whitaker Lake. I will see you guys in the next video coming this week. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but most likely it's probably going to be Crystal Gardens. So can't wait to see you guys until then. Thank you so much for all your subscriptions to my YouTube channel, all your follows on Twitch, and everything else. And I hope you guys continue to appreciate the work. Leave your comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster and Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. You can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.